So what is December? It's a critical opportunity where even Scott might say 30% of all his annual donations will occur in December. That's a source. That was sourced there. And then 10% happen in the final 3 days, believe it or not, where January, it will drop down to the typical 3 to 5% because of the, this exhaustion of giving during December. People will take a break completely. So, and what is it? It's a tax deadline, and the tax benefit is the forcing function and why December is so key. So, what should you be doing? Like, let's look at when you would launch, put that on your calendar, and what the peak period would be, and then a final push if you're going to do a series of communications, either snail mail, email, text, or a combination of the above. And then the motivators are financial planning. Again, the donor advised funds for year end, a lot of financial advisors will tell folks to put a big chunk of money in December, and then they may give that money across the next year. So their actual donation is virtual, hasn't been given to you yet. It's just sitting in a donor advised fund. So that's why last month, or just a few weeks ago, we talked about donor advised funds and getting on that list and starting to work down and check off each one of those donor advised funds so that they're aware of you. Now, you can do direct appeals. Of course, the donor advised funds, so they're going to target high capacity prospects now, or you should target those now. Again, if you need that list, we can email it to you, or if you go into the, share this tab instead. If you go into the classroom, you can go down to the nonprofit leader circle, and then under nonprofit tools, you have the donor advised fund list, and that's your 13 or so ones that you can take a look at. So take a look at those. You can, if you are up for it, you could do an intimate event with your high donors that are local, high value donors that are local, for maybe a holiday gathering or a hors d'oeuvre thing. And then, of course, any kind of matching campaigns where you could have one donor or a board member match. And at our church, we've done 2 recent matching campaigns that have been highly successful. They've done a small party with a few hors d'oeuvres, just a couple $100 of hors d'oeuvres and some nice music, and people coming in to enjoy each other's company, to hear a talk from the leader, and to give $1 that they know is going to be matched. And so they raised $18,000 in one evening against a $20,000 match. And then we had another donor match or put up another $10,000 for match, which is going through the end of September. So this could be a $60,000 campaign for the church through matching campaigns. So what's your strategy?
Hey, Vince,
go ahead.
Interrupt. Do you have a presentation up right now? Because I'm not seeing anything on the video. I don't know if anybody else is.
I'm sorry. Is that okay?
Is anybody else seeing it?
Yeah, I can see it.
your implementation.
I can see it.
Framework.
Well, I got nothing.
Implementation framework, maybe. If you go to are you on Chrome by chance?
I don't think I am.
Well, if there's a tab with a red light on, that would be the light that would be the tab you should be in with the recording light.
Yeah, I see the recording light. I just don't see anything on the screen. Okay. All right, I'll just bear along.
Anyone else have trouble?
Nope.
Okay, sorry about that, Lance. We will have the slides in the classroom, and I'll make sure you get them. So again, what's this multi-touch strategy look like? So week 1, you're going to launch an announcement with a case for support. Again, you're not just raising money to raise money. You got to tell people why you need the money. and we build another slide for that. So like, what's your call to action? And then impact stories, donor spotlights for weeks 2 to 3. Again, why the money's being raised and what it's going to with real stories. And then week 4, a final week with gratitude focus, and then that last chance appeal with urgency. Now, I believe Scott many years ago taught me that he likes to get out the letter around Thanksgiving, and then he knows it's going to sit around on their coffee table for a couple of weeks at Christmas, and about December 15th, they're going to send it in. Did I remember that right, Scott?
Yeah, I always try to time it about a full week the Monday before the full week before Thanksgiving, because some people may go on vacation. That way, a lot of donations start hitting. People have 4 days off, and they go through their mail over Thanksgiving, and then it's just like a constant stream with a peak, like you're talking about, between the 7th and 31st.
Wow. Okay. Now, as far as
So
consciousness and
I would,
go ahead, Sarah.
if I could interrupt for 1 second, I would love the group's opinion just on our timeline. Since Scott mentioned Thanksgiving, Drew's death anniversary is November 27th. So this year it's obviously on Thanksgiving, and we tend to receive a lot of donations around that time frame. So with that, when would you guys suggest us getting things out to kind of, it sounds terrible, but this is the business that I'm in, to
6 weeks out.
capitalize on the anniversary and, and that year-end donation timeframe, because they kind of all meet together.
It would just be like a 6 week out, like they're getting invited to a wedding or save the date. So 6 weeks out, you're kind of letting people know that your big fundraising date's coming along. And then, by the 15th of October is kind of your execute time. So you're about 4 weeks out from that time period. And so, yeah, you get 2 more weeks of planning, and then you're kind of executing in October. Does everyone else have any insights on that?
My only looking at the calendar, the last possible date you'd want to get something in their hands would be the 17th, but you could probably do something like the 10th of November.
Okay.
That would give them 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks. But think of, people may not be checking any kind of mail or email the week of Thanksgiving. So.
And then
Right.
what Scott says.
I, for one, am not going to be celebrating Thanksgiving. I'll be at Disney.
Yeah. That coincides with Veterans Day too. So you're essentially.
Yeah, it's kind of
16,
on topic.
16 days out where, you have like a lot going on. And then, people could have some, some exhaustion from veteran related, like all kinds of things, because they're going to get hit up for veteran related causes.
Yeah,
so how do you create a distinction? Because now you're competing. So I would consider it a very red ocean where there's just a ton of veteran asks. So how do you make yours different when you're kind of coming in 2 weeks after Veterans Day? That's a tough situation. And
yeah.
If we were to take a fresh look at this, what if the death day was important, but it wasn't necessarily your donor day? But you stated up front that that's when people want to give. They want to give on that day. And so maybe an online giving, maybe that silent auction type stuff you've experimented with. So it's something to consider, but also consider it's a red ocean because you're dealing with Veterans Day 2 weeks prior. And then now you're in kind of a very competitive, landscape for no reason other than it was just an untimely death near Veterans Day. And now you're competing with it because you think that date needs to be the date that you do a major fundraising effort, but maybe we could take a look at something different. That's all. I don't know what the
Yeah.
answer is.
Well,
Yeah, I would be curious to look at our percentages to see what percentages of donations came in for us. Because Memorial Day and November, the end of November, tend to be higher traffic on all of our social media. I mean, we've got more content coming out around then too, and then we've got the donation campaigns that are happening within those posts too. So
Can I share something really
it's
quick?
good to-
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Brandon.
I've got to go. But I just want to be really vulnerable here. I It's really nice to meet all of you and seeing similar faces, and that's why I feel compelled to be vulnerable. Which, fun fact, I hate being vulnerable. So it's a good
Hey,
sign
you're
that
not alone.
this group is very helpful for me. Um, I would love maybe in 2 weeks or 4 if we could do a call on like total beginners for nonprofits. Because I y'all sound like you know the rhythm of when donations come in, how you receive donations. You seem to have a list of people that donate. And for me, like I don't have any of that stuff. So yeah, I would just love to kind of go over that, or maybe Vince, we could talk one on one about it someday because I have a lot of hesitancy and just confusion around the whole donation process. And I don't know, I love one day to get up to speed like you all are, and never received any kind of grants or anything like that. So I just wanted to voice that if other people are newer or
You're not
seasoned.
alone.
And okay,
You're
because it
not
sounds like
alone.
y'all are
Don't
like,
don't let anything I say fool you.
because from my perception, it sounds like y'all are like, yeah, the donations are coming in at the end of the year, da da da. And I'm like, what? So,
I'm
yeah, I
just
just
the
want
only
to.
person that knows anything for our foundation and manages it. So that's it.
Yeah, Brandon,
Cool.
I'll hook you up. And yes, we all do have our fair share of imposter syndrome. But
Yes,
over time, this stuff starts to make sense. And part of these presentations with Nonprofit Circle is, hey, what part of the calendar year are you in, and what are you not thinking about for this period?
right.
And so right now, it just happens to be year-end donations because you got to start thinking about it. You got to have a plan, and I'll hand walk you through your plan for your year-end donation campaign. I know you had a face-to-face event last night, so that could
Yeah,
be a way to just say have something at the door that people can take or leave at the door and kind of walk out with, where it's a one pager and they kind of get an understanding that, hey, wow, we thrive on donations.
stupid question.
Yeah.
Why do people donate more at the end of the year?
Just because of
So-
the tax ability, and some people may live paycheck to paycheck, but then they realize, oh, I need to have a little bit more donations, or their financial advisor may say, hey, you can give, if you give another $10,000, it's going to come off your taxes anyway. And they're like, oh yeah, I'll do that. So they're just more motivated because of the tax benefits of
Got it.
giving
Understood.
year end and the holiday giving spirit. If you went back to that first slide, it was
Got
like
it.
the holiday spirit and then financial planning. So those three donor
Understood.
motivators are why that year end you could pull a lot of call to action there.
Got
and
it.
Vince,
Anything else for
Vince,
Brandon?
yeah,
No,
I do.
Right.
The two additional thoughts on why you do like Vince's schedule, what he's talking about. That I had a conversation with someone that was big in, had a lot of experience in donations and drives. The reason why you give it in early November is there's certain people that plan and budget all their Christmas giving in December for their budgets. And
Got it.
so they're not going to give in December, but if you get them early enough, they still feel cash from a cash perspective. They're like, "Oh, I can give $50 this month or whatever." If you get into December, they're like, "Oh, all my money's tied up in Christmas parties and gifts." The flip side, or the other argument is, um, everybody's going to hit a lot of nonprofits are all going to hit them for donations in the end of year in December. So if you go in November, they may give to you in November and then they run out of money by December. You don't want to be the one that gets in their inbox or mailbox in December and they go, oh, I've already tapped out. I've given everything to everybody. So that's two reasons why you get it in their hands in November, even though you might think that's a little too early. It's not.
Got it.
But
Thank you. Thank y'all.
Giving
I've got to get
Tuesday has
going.
also made that a challenge. So,
Yep.
Thank you all. I really appreciate it. See you next time.
bye, Brandon.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
So, for your consciousness integration with this, do a daily prosperity treatment. I sent that on an email, customize it to yourself. There's also a discussion board and like customizing that to yourself. And I would love to read that off while we're here because it's a pretty good way to kind of approach really declaring something to God that says in a positive way. I know that, with the assassination yesterday, there's a lot of negativity, and we can really look at things from a way that's more affirmative. And so I, Vince Lindenmeyer, know that spirit is the source of all supply, that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now, that my sacred activism community thrives and does good for society. I am so rich and so full that I have an abundance of money to spare and to share today and always. I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. This word in which I speak in faith, knowing, now activates universal law, and I accept the result. I bless all that I have now, and I bless the increase. I bless all the others in the Conscious Impact Leader Group, and I know that we now prosper together in every way. I give thanks for this good. And could sound hope. You're like, oh, Vince went off the deep end with this. But if you try the experiment, that's the best thing you can do. I'm back at the slides, hopefully. Just give this a shot. Try that daily prosperity. I did a spiritual economics course and read that 3 times a day or something similar in January of 24, and it transformed a lot of my thinking. And so try the experiment. Declare to God, who wants to be a good God and give you the things that you ask for, petition for it. It's very spiritually based. And I try to write it in a way that can be ecumenical to many faiths. So spirit, God, universe, good, and declare to God, declare to Jesus that you want this prosperity and that it's there for the giving. And we have an abundant universe. How many other planets have gold on it, and we're buying gold at $3,600 an ounce? Like, heaven forbid we find another planet that's full of gold. But Bitcoin's scarce. I won't talk about Bitcoin right now, but Bitcoin is a lot more scarce than gold, and both are going up in price thanks to the printing of money.
Hey Vince,
So,
before we leave the fundraising topic, I assume you're going to transition here soon.
I have one more slide too, but go ahead.
Okay, I'm just going to insert this. Is that the New York State prison system runs a program where they make furniture, license plates, all kind of stuff. That also includes a world-class print shop, and nonprofits like my group qualify for getting print services through the prison system at like a dirt cheap rate. You may want to explore that in your state if there's a similar thing, because I know states often parrot each other. That's it.
And you know what, the people that take advantage of that plan way ahead. So like they probably put in their print order in July for year end because they know there's a queue because it's dirt cheap. So yeah, in order to take advantage of some of those state resources, you got to plan, and you got to submit your request early. but I can understand that would be a great resource. So definitely look that up in your state. So one more, like, you're going to ask for money, but you really need a call to action and then a conscious call to action. So, you know, think about your language. We need your help, or join our prosperity circle, or please donate, or invest in transformation, or support our cause to co-create abundant impact, or year-end giving to prosperity partnership. And then abundance-based appeals, where your investment multiplies. It's not a donation, it's an investment. Your investment will heal 3 veterans. Your investment will provide art for, you know, this grade school. Prosperity flows through, not funds are needed for, and then abundant impact created by. So what programs supported by, you're going to say this, you're going to impact this. So talk about the end state, not like what you're doing, like what methods are you using? You know, okay, I'm going to pay for all these methods, but what's the end state of it? And then that call to action, invite, don't add. We invite you to join versus please give, partner with us, expand the good, and grateful for your partnership before the ask. And my savvy 2-decade experience, Executive Director Scott, have you ever experimented with language like this? And I'm sure you could add to this slide.
You know, yeah, I see what you're saying. I think there's a balance there, that you just are relatable to people, to be honest with you. Um, I I'm looking at some of this and I'm going, ooh, I could incorporate that. And then I look at some of it and I go, if I sound too much like a fundraising, letter with a
Yeah, a
bunch of
little too
words,
hokey. I get it.
a little too hokey, people are going to be like, okay. Um, at the end of the day, I think honestly, the letter doesn't mean a whole lot. It's their relationship with you and what they value in your mission. Um, and they probably don't even read it. I'm convinced no one reads what I send, and they just look at it and go, "Oh, they're still doing great stuff. Let's donate." Maybe they read it. I don't know, but it seems to work. So um, maybe I'll push back just a little. You just don't want to come across as too wordy. They just want to see that you're doing what you say you're doing. That's all.
Hey, Scott, as a follow up to that, and piggybacking off something Vince and I talked about a couple months ago, is so for our big donors, our top like 10 donors, after our first campaign this year, I wrote handwritten notes thanking them, and made a really a personal message, right? So I'm gonna adapt that, and for the rest of the, let's say, 4 dozen donors who routinely pitch in, um, I'm intending on arranging a year-end Zoom call with them to give them a personal update on the progress of the organization and a little bit of the over the horizon roadmap. And I'm hoping that is going to unlock some additional fundraising doors.
If
How
I
much
could,
do we have to give to join that Zoom call? That sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
sounds like you just sold Vince.
What is it? A couple
Lance.
$100? Like, where's the cutoff line for that?
No, you know,
What's-
what's funny, you bring it up, but membership in the Friends of the Fish Kill Supply Depot is measured in 2 ways. If you come out to one of our events and you're an active volunteer, you've become a member, or a $20 or more donation will gain you membership. So we have a pretty wide membership base. It's at least 4 dozen, I would say, on a yearly basis. But I do want to breathe some like value into that, and make them feel as though they're a part of an unfolding strategy.
Yeah, I like the partnership. Go ahead, Sarah. And also, Lance, while you're at it, when you get into Conscious Impact Leader, please post the nonprofit information with a donation link so we can all give $20 and be a part of that Zoom call, or at least a little bit more.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of the other things that we I talked about on another a call this week was, we are trying to shift our, um, Daniel has opinions back here too. But shifting, into, because we're trying to work with our sponsors for the Legacy Ruck, but we're kind of going on this, 2-column system of bringing in sponsors and partners. So while we're soliciting sponsors for the event, we're also saying, if there's a desire to do more than what we are asking for the sponsorship, we have this partnership, like what can we also provide to them? How can we be value added to their business and, enhance their customer base? What types of services can we provide? But opening that door as well. So we're bringing in an experience and saying, yes, we want you to give, but we also want you to be our partner. So giving them the option to choose. So making it not so salesy and giving them, you choose your own adventure. Just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, Lance, I would just add a comment. One of the things that I try to do, you have to know your few high-end donors. You've got to get to know them just well enough to know what they want in exchange for the gift. And so it's so different. People are quirky, and some they just want a simple thank you. Some don't want you to spend a dime thanking them because they feel like you're wasting resources.
Mm-hmm.
Others, if I don't take them to a meal once a year and stroke their ego a little bit, they that's what they want. So you just got to kind of map out based on your availability and your budget and your time. I don't mean necessarily money, but everything. What are you willing to spend as far as resources on the, whether it's the top 10, top 20? You probably can't take every donor
Yeah,
out
roger that. Yeah,
for
plus they're
lunch.
they're scattered across the country. The way I did it this year, not to dominate the discussion, Vince, but real quick, for the top donors this year, I think there were about 8 of them. I I went out to antique shops and got these historic postcards of Fishkill, New York, that kind of show the site that we're trying to save. They're from like the early 1900s, and enclosed those with a handwritten note, saying this is what we can achieve together, kind of thing. I hope it worked.